Okay, so to begin our opening ceremony, I'd like to call on Professor Mitch Parsell, who's the Academic Executive Director from the University of Tasmania, to do an acknowledgement of country. Thank you, Professor Parsell.
Thank you very much. So today we're meeting online, but many of us are gathering across Aboriginal land, sea and waterways. I acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which I meet, the Palawa people. The Palawa people belong to the longest continuing culture in the world. They cared and protected for the country for thousands of years. I pay my respects to elders, past and present, and to many Aboriginal people who did not make elder status, and to the Tasmanian Aboriginal community that continues to care for country. I recognise a history of truth which acknowledges the impact of invasion and colonisation upon Aboriginal people, resulting in their forcible removal from their lands. Our island is a unique place with spectacular landscapes surrounded by cities, towns, bushlands, wilderness, mountain ranges and beaches. I stand for a future that respects and acknowledges Aboriginal perspectives, culture, language and history, and a continued effort to fight for Aboriginal justice and rights, paving the way for a strong future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Parsell. We have a number of invited guests to our joining us at this opening ceremony today. I shall not name everyone, but would like to introduce the members of the Australia-ASEAN board who are with us today, Ms. Tamara Beasley and Professor Nicholas Farrelly, and we will be hearing from both of these people later on in the program. We're all representatives from the Tasmanian Department of State Education, as well as members of the university community, including from the School of Education, the School of Humanities and the School of Health Sciences. In addition, our invited guests include a representative of the university's Engagement and Partnerships Group, and of course the presenters for the webinar series. We also welcome all the 300+ ASEAN partners who are going to be here and the conference participants. I'd like to just add a moment, we had apologies from Professor Sharon Fraser, who is a member of the project team, but who wasn't able to be here today for reasons beyond her control. I'd like to introduce Professor Mitch Parsell to you more formally. He is an Australian Office for Learning and Teaching National Teaching Fellow and an Australian Learning and Teaching Council citation winner. He was instrumental in assisting the University of Tasmania to respond to the challenges of COVID-19 by adopting online learning across the university. Professor Parsell has over 2 decades of experience in online learning, so is very well placed to lead the university in this response. He is an editor of Peer Review of Learning and Teaching in Higher Education International Perspectives, and has chaired a number of external reviews, including for the University of Pretoria and the Australian School of Advanced Medicine. So I'd now invite him to give his welcoming address. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. It is really my great pleasure to welcome you all to the Australia-ASEAN Academic Forum Online Education during COVID-19 and beyond. Let me start by thanking the Australian Government through the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade for support for this forum, and to the forum conveners for organising such an inspirational range of presentations. I'd also like to thank the board members who are with us today. It really is an honour to host you and to host all our guests. The forum that starts today is the first of 2 rounds for 2021. This one represents presentations on online education from the University of Tasmania and across the Southeast Asian region. The forum has many benefits. Given my role, I'm particularly delighted to see it highlighting the University of Tasmania's reputation as a high quality and innovative online education provider. I'll just choose one example. So later you'll get to hear from the distinguished Professor James Vickers, who is doing amazing work in the Wicking Centre to combat dementia. As many of you probably know, dementia impacts upwards of 50 million people across the world, with approximately 10% or so of people impacted at some point throughout their lives. These raw numbers indicate, or underlie rather, a massive personal, societal and financial costs. So any educated response has the potential to have dramatic global impact. And Wicking are doing a number of wonderful things in online education to do exactly that. They have resources that include a MOOC that has been voted in the top 5 in the world of all time, a truly remarkable achievement. Now, I've highlighted that one example just to demonstrate the depth of impact of online education, how it can benefit all of society. The range of presentations across the forum clearly demonstrates the breadth of impact that online education can have. COVID-19 taught us at the University of Tasmania and potentially across the globe that online education can support the full spectrum of the curriculum. I was honoured to lead the response to the pandemic. We began in early 2020 when the virus appeared to be restricted offshore. We very quickly pivoted 3 high-volume courses to remote learning. Originally, these courses had very little to no online content. With hard work from the course coordinators themselves, the course teams, the teachers involved, our learning designers and our educational technologists, we were able to have the beginning of semester ready for remote delivery in well under a month. A really remarkable achievement. As the pandemic progressed, we gradually increased the number of courses we supported online. In fact, at UTAS, we were able to offer all of our courses last year with large parts of the curriculum offered remotely. A truly remarkable achievement and a credit to everyone across the institution. But of course, this is not an isolated story. It's not unique to UTAS. During the pandemic, it played out across institutions nationally and internationally. For many of our colleagues, it was probably the first time they'd seriously engaged in remote or online learning. They learned perhaps for the first time that online and remote learning can fully support high quality student learning outcomes. Of course, the rapid move online meant that this wasn't always the case. Not all of our offerings are at present high quality. We still have much to learn. We still have much to improve. So this is exactly the right time to be having the discussions that are scheduled for this forum. It is now the time to hear from researchers and practitioners about how best to support high quality online education. Our colleagues are now eager to hear and learn about what makes online education successful. What pedagogical approaches work best remotely? How can we support innovative and authentic assessment, and so much more. So I'd like to personally thank everyone involved in this forum for your input, and I'd like to welcome you all to the forum. It promises to be engaging, informative, and indeed inspiring. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Parsell, for those words.